Hey there! Welcome to Bold Badass Business Owners. Woo! And we have got the wildest topic for you all today. You do your spouse, your spouse and your lover are going to want to hear this one because it's the how your sex drive is the secret saboteur in your business. Oh, yes, your sex drive, the secret saboteur in your business. And in the house, I have one of my favorite people on the planet who is a dear friend of mine for many years. We've known each other, what, over 20 years, Liz?
Yeah.
And we've survived it. You've survived it. You've survived it, Liz.
And thrived. And thrived. And so have you, my dear. So have
You have
you.
survived. Yes, we have. And Liz Buell is a life and health master intuitive. If I told you all the accolades this woman has, you would not believe it. I mean, she in her previous career did the lighting, the architectural lighting on most of the major skyscrapers in New York City, for example. All right. She's just a wild woman. She's a high level consultant, philanthropist, 5 times best selling author, a medical intuitive who can tell you what's wrong with you when no one else can in the medical establishment. And she is just, yeah, she's lit some of the most iconic skyscrapers in the world. And she's passionate about healing suffering and trauma, especially in women who are struggling with weight. All right. But today we're talking about sex drive because guess what? Your sex drive, or my friends, the lack thereof, is impacting your business. And today you're going to find out why and how. So, Liz, I want to welcome you to the show. Woohoo!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Come a bit closer because you're a little faint. I want to make sure everyone can hear you. Maybe it's just in my earbuds here.
It may be. It may be. How's that?
Okay, there you go.
All
Oh,
right.
that's mucho better.
Okay.
So, welcome to the show, my dear. And
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love the orange.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
are we gonna kill it and have a great time? And hopefully, everybody watching is gonna have a great time too.
Honestly, we always do.
We always do.
We always do. That's just the way we roll.
It's the way we roll. All right. So, Liz, I want to ask you, sound is better with you closer, Tazima, it says. Thank you, Tazima. I appreciate that. So be sure to stay close. Just imagine you're like beckoning to everybody, Liz.
I'm beckoning.
You're beckoning. Since we're talking about sex drive today, you get to be
fetching.
You're being fetching.
All right.
So tell me, Liz, I know that this idea that what we wanted to talk about was birthed over, shall we say, a few margaritas one night.
It was. It was.
And we also were talking about the fact that energy is everything in business. Energy is whether or not you get attention. Energy is whether or not you have stamina to run your business. Energy is whether or not people are going to pay attention when you open your freaking mouth. We've all heard those people that are boring as hell. They are so boring.
We have.
Do they just need to get laid, Liz? Is that what's going on? They just need that? Tell us about this.
Well, you know what? This is a really broad topic. And I want to talk about it from two perspectives. One is women and stress. And any woman who's in business, any woman, I mean, my gosh, just being a woman at all, with all of the demands, you're a mom, you have a business. There are a lot of women who are juggling. They've got the kiddos, they've got the husband, maybe they're dealing with aging parents, maybe they've got a kid who's, got issues, shall we say. There is a stress level here, which is just through the freaking roof. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that men and women handle stress very, very differently, very differently. Men can, sweat it out. They can go to the gym. They can do the running. They can do all that stuff. And that is a stress reliever for men. Mm-hmm. Men. The problem is it is not a stress reliever for women. Women relieve stress through orgasm. I'm going to
Mm.
say that again. It's the big O, people, the big O. That is how women relieve stress. So, ladies, if you've been running to the gym with the expectation that somehow this is relieving your stress, well, guess what? It ain't happening. So, if you're not getting laid regularly, whether you're doing it with a partner or your very own self,
Yeah, let's not forget that, right?
let's
Your
not forget
primary
that.
relationship is with yourself, everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You need that
You got to
orgasm on a regular
understand your
basis.
body.
Yep. You absolutely need that orgasm on a regular basis to keep stress levels down. While we're talking about stress levels,
I love that. Let
I
me
want
pause
to
you a
talk
second though, okay?
about,
Because we are including, yeah, let's pause. I want to pause you just for a second, Liz, because we are including men today too. I want you guys who are watching to know we're not going to exclude you all at all. And I know men also enjoy the big O, so to speak. But I think it's
absolutely.
very interesting that, for women, there's that oxytocin, which is released. And,
Mhm.
we're relationship oriented in
We
business,
are.
in life,
We
right?
are. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We
Yep.
are. And so that oxytocin, I think, is a big part of it, that chemical that gets released. And we want to experience that relationship with people. And so, it stands to reason that the more we experience that relationship with our own body and and the relationship of sex within sex and the oxytocin release physiologically, that this is going to actually have a very real impact on our energy that we have available for our work and our businesses.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. To that point, I'd like to also point out that men and women, we're different people. We're different. And women operate from what shall I say, the relation business, but there's also a diffuse awareness that we always have. Which
Mm,
means that we are hyper aware of everything. And this is genetics. This is our history as gatherers, when you had to be very,
hmm.
very aware of what was going on in the environment to keep yourself safe, but also to keep your family fed. You had to notice,
Right.
what was going on in the environment. So this is what shall I say, an automatically more stressful way of being
Hmm.
than what the guys in contrast and
Oops.
comparison to us have that capacity for singular focus because they were the hunters.
Hmm.
So they are able to, because of their high testosterone levels, PS, by the way, they can be hyper focused and absolutely fearless because of the high testosterone levels. They can be absolutely fearless in going after things,
Mm,
whether it's you know the big animal or a smaller animal, doesn't matter. But that hyper focus and that high testosterone level go together. We, by comparison, don't have that testosterone level because we have estrogen. And estrogen
hmm.
goes hand in hand with the diffuse focus and being aware of absolutely everything and being able to multitask and keep more than one thing in our brain at the same time. Guys, not so much. They literally have blinders on. Now, why am I mentioning this? Because in business, women often are called upon to be single focused.
Mm,
It's exhausting. It depletes other organs in our bodies trying to boost testosterone levels to be able to pull this off. So,
wow.
mhm, mhm. So
And
we end
so,
up with adrenal fatigue. We end up with
gotcha.
thyroid problems. We end up with all sorts of things because supporting that extra testosterone, trying to boost that thing up, we're
Hmm.
robbing these organs right, left, and center. And it makes
Mm,
us sick. So it's not a surprise that when women have a big project due.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are like lickety split. We get exhausted, absolutely exhausted.
Wow, I'm so not happy, but I'm really glad you're bringing this up because it makes so much sense. How many women have we heard say, I feel so overwhelmed? And certainly a lot of that is that we're taking care of things at home and at business, in business, and
Absolutely.
we're juggling tons of stuff
Yeah.
in our lives. So that is a part of it. But the physiological aspect of this is really interesting. Now
Yeah.
we have in the house, I will tell you, I see Tazima Ayana Paris here, who is a sex coach and pleasure mentor for women. Woo! Hi,
I love it.
Tazima. Good to see you. And
I
please
love it.
keep making some great comments. We're really glad you're there. She's talking about the orgasm gap that you were talking about, that is real. And she's talking about what we were talking about with oxytocin. So, hi, she says hi. So I'm really glad you're in the house, and definitely everybody, would you blow up the comments because I know we're talking about sex, but don't be a voyeur. Don't be a peeping Tom. That's just weird. All right. Make some comments. What have you learned so far? Make comments, you all engage. And I want to say to you, remember, I always forget to say this, so I'm saying it right now. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Barnsley Brown, so that you don't miss any of the amazing guests coming on every 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. All right, everybody, that's my quick commercial. I can see you. Subscribe to Dr. Barnsley Brown at YouTube so you don't miss out. Now, and I'm going to run some contests and stuff, y'all. You can win shit. Oh yeah, you can win shit. So don't miss out. If you don't subscribe, you ain't going to win crap. That's what I'm saying. So Liz, just to kind of go back and recap for a second. So what I'm hearing is that as women, we are physiologically not wired to just focus on one thing. And
Correct. That's
this
correct.
contributes to overwhelm in our businesses. And we need the big O. And I'm not talking about Oprah's magazine. We need the big O so that we can connect. We can raise our testosterone levels, right? Or
No.
tell me again. Okay.
So that we can lower our stress levels.
Gotcha. Bring our cortisol down.
Big O is a huge stress reliever. In fact, it's the only one. I mean, it's really the only one that works for us. Going to the gym doesn't cut it. Just doesn't cut it.
It releases endorphins, it releases endorphins, and exercise releases endorphins too, but you have to do a lot more of it than say
not in the same way. And you can't, I don't know too many people who say, oh, I just love sweating. Oh, I just love all those aches I get after working out. I don't know too many people who do that. And if they do, you kind of have to wonder a little bit about them.
You do. You kind of, maybe they're from France. Oh, that was really incorrect politically. That's what we try to do on the show is we say shit just to see if y'all are paying attention. But I have to say, as we are speaking, I have my house cleaner here, and she is literally, I want you to hear this, she is literally wiping the walls down in our Airbnb rooms upstairs because I had a guest from a country that will go unnamed who did not shower, who did not, and I think also probably exercised in the room. And literally, I am doing 10 loads of washing shit with white vinegar to get the smell out. I'm not kidding you. It's in everything. So I just want to put in a note here about personal hygiene. Personal hygiene will make you more attractive in your business and your life, since we're talking about sex drive. So Liz, all right, so we get it. Men are really able to focus on one thing at once. I've always said that a guy's idea of multitasking is this. He sits on the couch, he puts his feet up, he holds a beer in one hand, and he holds the remote control in the other.
That's pretty accurate. And I also would add to that, and this, I attribute this to Mark Gungor, Gungor, who is he's a pastor and just well worth the time to listen to, and you will just go crazy listening to him. You'll crack up. But he submits that men act. Here's the other piece about it. Because of the way women are constituted, we have that diffuse focus. And
Mm-hmm.
John Forrest's description of our brains is, like all of these wires that cross over and they're all connected. Men's brains, by comparison, are compartmentalized. All these boxes, they've got a box for fishing, they have a box for eating, they have a box for this, and they have a box that actually has nothing in it. Nothing, absolutely nothing in it. And the boxes can't touch. That's the other thing. The boxes cannot touch, right? So that makes it very, very easy for them to be hyper focused on things. Now, the other piece of that is that the amygdala, which is that little tiny, walnut sized thing in the brain, which is the fight, flight, freeze portion of the brain.
Fawn, yeah.
Yeah.
Faint.
That thing in women is 3 times the size of what it is in men's.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Damn it. This isn't fair.
3 times the size. So it's no wonder that we worry about everything.
Yes.
And guys can just, charge headlong into, machine gun
battle
fight and not worry about it.
Now, isn't that interesting, right? Okay. Because we as women, are concerned about, we're catastrophizing oftentimes in our businesses. We're thinking about, what if this happens, or what if they don't like me when we're going to speak to it? By the way, I don't worry about that shit at all when I come on here. Y'all either love us or you hate us. And if you hate us, that's okay too. Go watch some boring ass show where they talk about topics like how to do your 30-second elevator pitch. Good luck with that, y'all. We don't do that on Bold Badass Business Owners. We just give you the no bullshit version of it. We don't do it. We don't do it. So this is so fascinating, Liz. It really is. Physiologically, women are more relational, and men are more physiologically prepared to go straight into battle, like, ha ha.
Yep.
I wonder what St. Joan of Arc's testosterone levels were. She must have had a lot of testosterone.
Well, or she robbed some organs to muster it up.
Yeah,
that could have happened too. But speaking of worrying about everything, women have 4 times the anxiety rate that men do, and 2 times the depression rate.
Wow, women have, I'm putting this over here, women have 4 times the anxiety rate
and 2 times the depression rate. And it's that worry. It's that, great big amygdala. And there's a woman, I want to look more into it, but there is a doctor, her name is Lorraine Brizendine, who wrote books on the female brain and the male brain. So that's next on my reading list. I was like, wow, this explains a lot.
Huh. I'm just capturing that in the comments over here. And we have an amygdala reptilian brain that is 3 times the size of men. So of course we're more prone to anxiety, worry, all of this. Now I'm thinking about, okay, remember hysteria, the female disease? The female disease. One of my favorite authors who I wrote my master's thesis on, Virginia Woolf. Well, every time she finished a book, she would basically go into like a catatonic state, and they called her a hysteric. And her rather controlling publisher husband would put her in a bed, and she could only drink like milk. Now, interesting. But this whole idea of hysteria as a female disease is interesting because, now it really is like worry is kind of a female issue, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we don't have a choice. We really don't have a choice. We are hardwired to worry. And it's simply because of, that gatherer role that we have had for millennia, where you really did, gathering is a relationships thing. You're counting
Yeah.
on the sisters to help you out,
Yeah.
to kind of bond and help you carry the stuff
Yeah.
back and tell you where maybe, oh, I think I saw something over there that might be good for us to go get.
And then you
Oh,
cook it up over the fire.
yeah. And, I'll look
Yeah.
after your kiddo for a minute or two while you go get blah, blah, blah. Right. I mean, we have just been totally dependent upon those relationships to survive
Yeah.
or forever.
Right.
Or
So
forever.
I want to ask this. Okay. So I think this is important. And, again, I just want to emphasize that I think we as women have a huge, huge advantage because of our relational abilities. All right. In business, we have a huge advantage, and men certainly can learn it. By the way, guys, you can learn the skill. You can learn it from a woman, right? Get a woman coach who's kick ass in that. We can learn, the men can learn it, but we women really have that. It's a part of how we're wired. Yes, Tazima says the gathering instinct is what has us tell the person where we got the dress they just complimented.
Yes.
I love that. Like, where'd
Yes.
you get those glasses? Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah,
We are
exactly.
wired to be in collaborative, cooperative environments. That's the
Yes.
gathering instinct. And it
Yes.
makes for great business teams. It can make for great managers as long as you're willing to tell the truth, right? Not let people get by with shit. So it can make for that as well. But how can we turn this large amygdala and this propensity to worry that we have as women, how can we turn that into business, or into, how can we reframe that as an advantage? What ways do you see?
Well, our hyper awareness of absolutely everything
Mm-hmm.
is an advantage. You don't have to do anything, really. It's just like, oh, I'm not imagining that.
Mm.
I'm not imagining it. Because a lot of times guys, because of their hyper focus and the fact that they literally have this little teensy tiny amygdala, will say,
Right.
well, I don't understand why you're worrying. They don't
Yeah, and
understand.
there's a guy with a machete standing behind him.
Exactly, right? Because they literally have blinders
Mm-hmm.
on.
Yep.
And we don't.
So we're able to really have like a panoramic view. That's what I'm hearing. Instead of sort of being like those Clydesdales with the things so they can only see right in front of them.
Exactly.
And I think we're much better readers. And Tazima, I'd love to hear what you think, and other people watching, I'd love to hear what you think, because I know you're on here. I can see you, by the way. I can see how many people are on here. I know y'all are there. Stop being peeping Toms. You're a bold, badass freaking business owner. You wouldn't be listening. So here's the thing, is like, it's time for us to realize that our ability to see everything is really a moneymaker for us as women, because we are able to anticipate things in our environment. We're able to read the subtext and the body language of the other people. Because why? Because we have the panoramic view and not just this view.
Exactly. I want to that point too. There actually is a difference structurally in the way women's eyeballs work and the way men's eyeballs work.
Wow.
You're gonna love this one. You're gonna love this. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Men have a superb ability to track moving objects. Superb ability. And part of this is because of that hyper focus thing. Right? Which is why women who are engaged in things like golf or trying to watch a football game or whatever, or hockey, I'm always wondering, where's the ball?
Yeah, I don't even watch the game. I'm talking to people. I'm just there for the popcorn and hot dogs. Are you kidding? That's the only reason I'm there. I don't give a shit where, and to watch the buns of those. I just have to say that's so politically incorrect, and it's totally true though. I love baseball games for the same reason. Yeah. Anybody else with me? Tazima, what do you think?
Ooh.
Durham Bulls, nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Yeah, but that's why it's difficult for us to track because we're seeing everything. So the ball is just a little teensy tiny
Yeah.
of the greater picture that we are capable of taking in, whereas guys are focused on that one little thing.
Now that is wild. All right, so let me just say something, okay? One of the things I really see women entrepreneurs struggle with, and it's why one of the major reasons why I created the Make It Happen Mastermind coaching program I run, is I see women struggle with focus.
We do.
Yeah.
We're
Struggling with focus. Like, what do I do next?
Yep.
I feel stuck because there are a million options and how do I know what will work and how do I get focused and how do I keep myself accountable when I have all these things that I'm juggling in the air? And so, I do have, by the way, a high level of testosterone. That might surprise you, but I had my hormones done and I do have a high level of testosterone for a woman. And so I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that's interesting. But we have to figure out as women how to really focus. And that's what I do with my folks. The way that I have my program arranged, they get that shit done and they have daily accountability and they're focused on one thing at a time. That's the power. I think you might have just frozen. Either that or you are extremely pensive right now, Liz. So I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I think you have frozen. Oh, we lost her. Oh my goodness. She'll be back in a second, you all. So this gives me a second to just refresh and talk a little bit about what we were talking about. Number one, men really can exercise and get really energized. Women really do need to have, as Liz put it, the big O with yourself or someone else, or maybe a polycule. I don't know what what you enjoy, but to have that as a release because it brings down cortisol levels, and bringing down the cortisol levels frees up more of your mind, your brain power for your business. Okay. So this was one thing we talked about. We talked about how women have 4 times the anxiety rate of men and 2 times the depression rate of men, because we have an amygdala, the reptilian part of our brain, that is 3 times as big as the woman, as a guy's amygdala. So we actually, as women, have a natural propensity to worry, to catastrophize, to think about, oh my God, what if this happens or the other happens? And, in business, think about it. That's going to hold us back incredibly because we are not going to take as many risks. Think about it, you all. Women who are on here, we're not going to take as many risks if we're really worrying about what could happen as a result. We also talked about the hunter-gatherer instinct and that women are relational. We really thrive. And this is why I always enjoyed teaching women's studies classes. And by the way, you all, first semester I taught at Wake Forest and I taught women's studies. I had one fellow in this class and then the rest were women. And what I said to him is, boy, you're smart. You are smart because you're in here with all these incredible women, these beautiful, incredible women. You're the only guy. And you're going to have an advantage because you're going to understand so many things that the rest of the planet, and especially the people who are not in this class, understand. And do you know the next semester, you all, guess how many guys were in my class? A third of the women's studies class was guys. Oh, yeah, at Wake Forest University. But I was way too progressive, right? Because there were some people who are like, oh, well, you shouldn't have men in a women's studies class. Why the fuck not? We've all been studying history for eons, right? Why shouldn't there be men in a women's studies class? Why should there not? Do I have to be British to be in a Shakespeare class? I don't think so. Anyway, I was just way too progressive for that time. So these are things that we talked about. Now it seems like I've still lost Liz, and I will tell you all, I know, right? Huge increase in men's attendance. Tazima says, wow. And you know why? Because I emphasized that they would have an advantage. Because guess what? What rate of women are in the world population? Let's think about it, y'all. Really. And by the way, there are a lot of other statistics like that women control an incredible, I think it's $3 trillion of consumer spending. Wow. So I'm going to tell you all that right now we are having thundering and lightning outside. And our beloved Liz Bull is only 20 minutes away in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Yes, Kim. Hi, Kim. My neighbor's here. Good to see you, Kim. So I think what may have happened is that there was an outage in her area. But that's okay because we'll keep going. Because actually, I think that this is a really important topic. And when you think about your energy, one of the greatest sources of our energy is Kundalini, and that is the sexual energy. And if you have ever studied yoga, they talk about Kundalini, and it comes up from the back of your spine, basically. And in Reiki, which you all know I practice and teach and train my folks in, even the folks in my Make It Happen Mastermind business coaching program, they learn Reiki as well. You know, Reiki actually moves your energy, your chi in your body. So I have people say to me a lot of times, you know, Barnsley, you have such high energy. And I can tell you all that the source of my energy is Reiki. I've practiced it daily. I've done the Reiki self-treatment on myself since 1992, really 31 years daily treatment. And it has a cumulative effect. Now, if you're not familiar with Reiki, that's universal life force energy. It is a method of healing and natural stress relief that was invented or founded in the 1890s in Japan. And it's all over the world now. Everywhere I go, I meet people who practice Reiki. I was in Guatemala, met a Reiki master right there in Guatemala, Zimbabwe, all these places I've traveled. And so I would say to you, those of you who are like, well, you know, I really don't have much sex drive. I don't have much energy for my business. I don't have much energy, period. May I suggest to you that you might want to look into Reiki? Yeah. Plus, it's so relaxing. The physiological effects of it actually bring your cortisol levels down so that you can be grounded and you can be peaceful no matter what. All right. So you all, there is Liz. Oh my God, she's back. Yay, she's back. Guess what? I just got to riff on Reiki and the power of our Kundalini, our sex drive, and our energy. Because people are always telling me, Liz, and they say the same thing to you. I'm not going to tell your age, but we both look a lot younger than we are. Let's just put it that way. And people always, you know, when Liz and I are in a Zoom room together, I will tell you that the two of us have the most energy of anybody there. And people tell me that all the time. Don't they tell you that, Liz?
I've heard that many, many, many times. Yeah. It's like,
and the secret is, you all, the secret is sex. No, the secret isn't sex. The secret is chi, it's called ki and Reiki, same thing. Chi, your life force energy. It's what the physicists call energy, period. But people can feel it. It's palpable. You know, we're matter. We are matter, M-A-T-T-E-R. Matter is energy. That's physics, y'all. There's nothing woo-woo about this shit at all. So if you want to raise your energy level and you want to raise your sex drive, because actually Reiki is natural Viagra. Oh, yes, it is. I wrote a whole blog post series on that, Liz. Reiki is natural Viagra. If you want to raise your energy so you get more attention in business, then you're going to want to study something like Reiki, you know? Yoga, perhaps. Yoga, I've always found yoga to be more relaxing than it kind of like puts me to sleep. By the time I get to the corpse position, I am snoring. Anyway, well, Liz, welcome back. So we did a little riff here and on Reiki and energy, but let's get back to, and I was actually going back through everything we talked about up through the gathering part and just rehashing it. So let's get back to sex, okay?
why not?
Does this mean those people who are so boring in their introductions in these networking meetings, does it mean it's been a while?
They're not getting any?
Maybe.
Probably.
Might be.
Probably.
And Yeah, probably.
I
And
think
and
there's a
maybe
I think there's a more than 50-50 chance.
there's a direct
It's
correlation, in
been
other
a
words.
while. It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's talk about not just sex. Let's talk about like sex drive. Let's talk about being sexy. All right. And that really has nothing to do with being sexual, by the way. Being sexy is like somebody who's alive and turned on to life. They're passionate, which is why I called somebody who was speaking at one of these things. I'm like, you're sexy. And people are like, ooh. And I said, that has nothing to do with sex being sexual. It's like he's attractive. He's so attractive because he's passionate. He's impassioned. He's not sitting there saying, I love my business. I like to help people feel better.
It's funny
Here's
because,
my church lady look.
yeah, exactly.
I try to do
Exactly.
the church lady look at least once every time.
I love it. No, it's absolutely true. When there's no energy in your voice, when there's no energy in your, your body, your body
Yeah.
language and all that, when there's like that kind of, I call it the flatline look.
Yes, it's like, let's just open up the casket and get
Woo!
in. Let me open
Exactly.
it up for you, honey. Go
Yeah,
on in. I'm
yeah,
gonna prepare your eulogy right now.
yeah. There is really nothing. There's nothing attractive about that at all.
Right.
People are not drawn to it. If anything, people are repelled by it. And there
Right.
was one of the people that we both know in one of our networking groups. He said this to me more than once and made exactly that same comment.
Hmm.
So other people who are in the group who do work with energy, but have zero,
Yeah.
zero. And he's always saying to me, he said, that's the difference. That's what made me work with you because
Yeah.
you actually have energy. You know,
You're an actual powerhouse and not, flatlined out. And
yeah,
that's true. I mean, why would you want to do any work with someone who, quote unquote, does energy work, who just is, has no energy themselves? They're not a walking, talking monument to what it can do, and sometimes, oh, I have a funny story. Can I tell a funny story, Liz?
oh, please do.
Oh, can I do it? Would y'all like a funny
Oh,
story? Let
please.
me tell you a little funny story, okay? This is Sassy Pants Barnsley. But I remember years ago, I was doing a presentation on Reiki for the Orange County Women's Center. And I had a group of women there. And, I'm intense, y'all. I used to tone myself down. After a while, I was like, fuck that shit. You either love me or you don't. And if you don't, we'll go hang out with the boring ass people. Go ahead. But anyway, I was talking to this group and I had this person and she's kind of looking at me like this, with her eyes a little too wide where you can see the whites. And I just kept going. I don't have a problem. I kept going. And finally, I said, I guess you all can tell I have a lot of energy. And this particular person said, too much energy. And you know what I did, Liz? I kid you not. I smiled. I did the Barnsley smile and I said, I know. It is so fucking annoying when people are happy, isn't it? It's just so annoying. And I have to tell you that she agreed. And we're like, yeah, it just is. That we agreed and talked about it for a second and then went on. Well, she ended up becoming my client, Liz.
Of
And not
course.
only did she study Reiki level 1 and 2 with me, but she went on to mastership. And then she sent me her daughter, who was just wonderful. And I still hear from her sometimes. But I mean, I got it. I understood. It can be really annoying, especially if you don't have that. If you don't have that kind of energy, then
Yeah.
somebody like you or me is going to scare the shit out of you. And that is just sad to me, but it's your thing to deal with. It's your trigger. It's your issue, not mine.
It is funny. And yes, it can be off-putting to some people.
Yeah.
Many years ago, because I used to work with a lot of men in my career as an architectural lighting designer.
Yeah.
And I was down in Palm Beach and I was focusing lights on waves
Yep.
uh, for the Bath and Tennis Club, right?
Yep.
Right. So I'm working with this electrician to put these fixtures on the palm trees and so on and so forth. And, they had to be, it was very precise because I'm looking at the waves and the angle that the waves are coming in and, how I want the light to catch it. And finally the electrician, he looks at me, says, man, are you intense?
He said, woman,
And I said, well, thank you.
good for you. Just so nicely and sweetly. Thank you. That's a real positive. Yeah. You know what? I think that, and here's the gender piece, you all, right? I do believe that, I know definitely I'm an anomaly here in the South, right? And I am from the South, which is never, people never believe that. They're like, I thought you were from New York. Just because I am
That's me,
outspoken,
Brinsley. That's
you
me.
know.
I'm from New York.
I know you're from New York, right? But you know,
I'm
I was
easy.
born and bred here, and people are like, you were born and
What?
bred here? How did that happen?
How is
But
that
the
possible?
point is that when a woman carries power, she's labeled as intense or too much. Or if you are blatant about the fact that you make a great living doing your business as I am and you are too, and you don't hide that shit, because why should I've gotten where I've gotten and you've gotten where you've gotten by a whole fuckload of work. All right. And we've put in the hours and we put in the sweat. There's that sweat that came up earlier. We've done all that sweat labor. We've done this, right? I'm proud of it, and I will not tone it down, and I will not apologize for who I've become and what I've created, and I know you don't either. But we become labeled with some words that are very interesting, like pushy, like she's too much, she has balls. Always when somebody says something like that, I'm like, no, I have boobs, and they're better. So I just want to point this out about our language, you all, is that we as women, entrepreneurs, and then the guys who are watching who are, let's say, aware, right? And hopefully you're more aware now having watched this, then we want to call women with powerful terms, right? And not just demonize a woman who holds power and carries her power.
Yeah. I do think that there is something about the way it gets, I want to say, embodied,
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes does us a disservice. And I think in many respects, and here I'm drawing right now from the work of Alison Armstrong, who is brilliant, absolutely brilliant
Mm-hmm.
in terms of looking at the way women operate versus the way men operate, because we're not, it's equal and it's different.
Yeah.
It's equal and
Yeah.
it's different. And I think feminism, the whole feminist movement, and believe me, I mean, I never burned a bra. I'm too cheap to
I never owned one, so that I didn't have one to burn.
you know.
Just kidding.
But I have always been, I was an early adopter of feminism. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that it encourages us to compete with men. And that does not work well for us. It
Hmm.
doesn't. It doesn't work well for us at all. We're not, as we're talking about, our nature, our hardwiring is more
Mm-hmm.
to collaborate.
Yes.
It's not to compete. It's not to compete. And so we end up burning out our adrenals in an effort to
Mm.
kind of like that Annie get your gun thing, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. It's like, no, stop it. Stop
Yeah.
it. Stop it.
Yes.
You can get way more done and accomplished with men if you stop competing with them and let them do what they do best and acknowledge them for that. Because all men really want to do is be our heroes.
Yes. Men like to be of service, you know?
They really want to make us happy. They want to make
Yeah.
us happy, right? And a lot of women go, oh, I don't want to have any of that. And I was like, cut it out, girl.
Right.
Cut it
You know,
out. Cut it out.
let someone have the, let someone have the what's the word I'm looking for? The pride of giving you something, of serving in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. There are just so many things we can talk about with this whole topic, of sex drive and being sexy, being attractive, being in touch with your own energy, right? Because
Yep.
again, sex drive or having this kundalini really is about being in touch with your energy. Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then you can channel it however you want. You can channel it into a book you're writing it. You can channel it into a project you're doing. You can channel it into whatever, a deadline you have for your business. You can channel it in any number of ways. But if you don't have the energy in the first place, then that's your saboteur right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is like
Yeah.
heller, as Medea would say. So I'm wondering, Liz, as we get ready to wrap this, I'm wondering, what would you say to people as a way to really increase their attractive energy and their sex drive, their drive to live, their drive for accomplishment? And I'm lumping all of that together, but I really do think it's interrelated.
Well, Barnsley, it's all related.
It's all related.
It's all related. I think the biggest thing for energy and increasing energy and maintaining energy is self-love and self-care.
Okay.
Self-love, self-care, and gratitude. So
that's wonderful. I had a guest on here, David George Brooke. Wonderful, incredible interview. And he talked about that, the self-love aspect. Those of you who are working on that and want to increase your attractiveness, be sure to go and watch that interview with David George Brooke, that gratitude guy, as he brands himself. So this is huge. And actually, gratitude increases your energy just pretty much immediately.
Yep.
Think about it.
Yep, it does.
It's like the fastest way to shift out of a shitstorm and shift out of a wallowing in your own poo-poo,
Exactly.
or what's happening in your life, is to make a list of what you're grateful for sure.
Absolutely. And you know what? There's another thing I'll add to this too. And I taught this when I was speaking in London a few weeks ago. Laughter yoga.
Yes.
Laughter yoga. And I know people like, laughter yoga, what? I mean, because everybody thinks yoga is like, oh, you have to be like, oh,
you have to go,
no. Because the thing is if you change your physiology, then you change your state and you change your thoughts. Right?
Absolutely.
It just works. It works like that. So, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, you can try this right now. If you look down, the tendency is to feel down. If you look up, well, it's hard to feel depressed if you're looking up.
Look to the heavens.
It automatically increases your energy. And laughter yoga is kind of an extension of that, because you oxygenate better when you're laughing. And I mean, we're talking belly laughs here, people. I was like, like wild abandon. And it was like, woo, and just let it rip, and you will immediately have more energy. You'll feel better and have more energy, and your thought patterns will shift.
Absolutely. And it's one of the major reasons I love doing improv comedy is that it just gets you in that frame of mind of possibility, not of oh, this is the way things are. It's that place of possibility, and that is powerful. And I'm going to be interviewing, by the way, in September, one of my improv teachers, Anutri Broad, which is going to be an awesome interview. She'll be talking about how improv actually ignites your business, basically. So those of you watching, I'm wondering what you all are thinking of this interview. I'd like you to post a comment. What's your aha here? What are you thinking? What's this spawned in you? Maybe that's maybe that's the wrong word, or maybe it's the right word. Spawn.
It's kind of interesting there.
What is spawned? What has this interview spawned in you? I'd like you to comment and definitely share it and love it. I bet we're probably one of the few interviews out there about, your sex drive, the secret saboteur in your business. The point being, you all, if things are a little slow, well, guess what? They're probably a little slow in many areas. So how about we give you a little business Viagra, some ways to get your energy back. So Liz, as we wrap up, I know that you have some kind of freebie that you'd like to give everybody. So tell them how to get in touch with you and how to get their freebie.
Okay, so funny you should mention. So yes, indeed, I do have a freebie, and it's all about your energy. Because as I'm sure if you're listening to this show, you probably already know that energy is everything. And that whatever happened to you in your life, maybe it could have been this morning, it could have been when you were a kid, doesn't matter. It affects your energy. And when you show up, people feel your energy. People, when you're speaking, you're in a sales conference, doesn't matter, networking, people really don't pay attention to your words. They feel your energy. They feel your energy. That's what it is. And if you have the right energy, they're going to be all ears and, dialed into you. If you got the wrong energy, it's like, we're done here. We're done. So I have actually put together a series that will help you get the right energy. And you can get it if you go to lizbull360.com. You can plug in and get it there, or you can go to lizbull.com/gift, and it will be delivered to your mailbox.
I love that. So go to lizbull360.com and you can get this series on how to call back your energy and really have that right energy. And, you made me think of something, Liz, when you were saying that. I want people to really understand that when we say the right energy, we don't say that you have to, I don't mean that you need to look, and I don't think you do either, Liz, that you need to have just be perfect, right? And just everything looks great. I actually found out last week that the dear friend of my daughter's best friend, who was 18, got shot and killed in Durham, North Carolina. And I was so upset. I had gone to get her with my daughter. I dropped everything, went to get her, came back, and I had a business meeting to get on. And I was in tears, you all, but I decided to go on the meeting anyway. And I just sat there and I cried and I said, I just want y'all to know I'm okay. I'm feeling my feelings. Here's what happened, and just left it at that. But what happened as a result of that is that people were very touched, but it was very real. And then as I let the emotions come through, and they just came through, and I was fine. Right. But here's the thing. You've got to be willing to be real and to let your emotions up and out, because I guarantee you, if you're stuffing a bunch of shit, a bunch of emotions down, then you are not having the energy that attracts people. We want to be around people who are in the flow. And to be in the flow, guess what? You get to let yourself flow through whatever is going on with you. Flow through it and get back up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. That's great advice. That's great advice.
So we had some awesome comments that I want to tell you, Liz. Over here, we got Tazima saying takeaway. Our sex coach and pleasure mentor, for example, she's like, takeaway, I knew orgasms were great for women, but I didn't know it worked better for women than exercise. Wow, this is good. I thought it was the same. And the exercise stress for women makes total sense. Yes, Tazima, thanks for commenting. And we've got Kim Batson saying, I love the reminders of self-care and generating energy. Yes, we cannot, Kim, we can't give other people energy unless we have energy ourselves, unless we have a surplus. So we've got to stoke that energy in ourselves first. And again, you all, I just want to say, I am not for those of you thinking, well, Barnsley has some great sex life and sex drive and all of this and below, whatever. That's why she's high energy. No, my energy, the source is Reiki. I'm actually single, right? I'm happily divorced and happily single. And here I am, right? This is me with my energy. So I just want y'all to hear that if you're not in a relationship, with someone else, but you're still in a relationship with yourself, you can still have this powerful energy in your business and your life. Well, bless you, bless you, bless you. Bless your heart, as we say in the South, but that's not a good thing. So, Liz, they need to go over to lizbull360.com. This has been so much fun. I can't wait to see you over some margaritas when I get back from this long trip. We got to have some fun. Maybe we even need to do it tomorrow night. But thank you for coming. And, you know, I learned things today that I never knew that about the amygdala, that our amygdalas as women are 3 times as big as men's. And it makes perfect sense. That's why we're such freaking worrywarts. Mm-hmm. By the way, those of you who are worrywarts, check out Dale Carnegie's book about worry. What is the name of it? It's great. Stop Worrying and Start Living, something like that. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. It's a Dale Carnegie book. It's definitely a great read, especially if you're a woman who worries. And, you know, women, we get to let go of that crap and just take some risks and be okay with being imperfect. You know, we just get to do that and to stoke our own energy, which as women, we're often just dissipating by giving and giving and giving and giving to others. What do you think, Liz?
I think that's absolutely true. And there is this tendency to say yes when we should be saying no, and to feel guilty when we say no. So I'm going to give everybody a little tip here. So number one, you owe no one any apology or excuse for how you spend or don't spend your time. You have 525,600 minutes in the year. They are your minutes. They don't belong to anybody else. And you don't have to share if you don't want to. And you don't have to have a reason to not want to. Mm-hmm. No justification required. So here's what I say, because people are often asking me for this, that, or the other thing. And this is what I say. And this is a little bit of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and it works like a charm. Mostly, we would tend to want to start the sentence with sorry. No. We do not start the sentence with sorry. We say gee. The next thing we say is, you know, my plate is really full right now. And, not but, and I'm flattered that you thought of me. So that compliments them on their good taste and so on, know-how, right? I wish you luck in finding the right person to do this. Bye.
I love that. So say it again for us.
Gee, you know, my plate is really full right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm flattered that you thought of me. I wish you luck in finding the right person to do this. Bye.
I love that. I have my own version too, Liz. Let me share mine too, which really works like a dream too. I love that. Y'all should be writing that shit down. That's some words of wisdom. It's too long for me to type it into the comments. Okay, let me just say. But here's my version of that. I'm like, thank you so much for thinking of me for that. I'm going to need to decline. However, I'd love to recommend blank. And that's where you recommend somebody you don't like. Yes. You're like, I'd like to recommend.
Oh, goodness.
So there you go. Once again, it's thank you so much for thinking of me. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to need to decline that opportunity. And let me recommend blank. And there you can insert name a person you don't like. Or you can just leave off. If you're a nice person, you can leave off that last sentence. So you all, this has been Bold, Badass Business Owners every Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern right here. And I want to tell you that I know if you have or you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, and you, if you have not subscribed, will be missing out on some great interviews with some big name guests coming. People you never believe are going to be on here are going to be on here. You're going to miss out. And the other thing is you're going to miss out on prizes and drawings. But go ahead, don't subscribe. Just don't subscribe. Just do that to yourself. Sabotage yourself. We were talking about sabotage earlier. Seriously, y'all go subscribe. Dr. Barnsley Brown, just look me up on YouTube and subscribe so you can be included and be here every Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern for bold, badass business owners. So want to just say here, thank you again, Liz. I love you, my friend. You're an amazing spirit and such an accomplished person in so many interesting areas. You all definitely need to reach out to lizbull.com. I can tell you I've experienced her work. She's also taken Reiki with me, right, Liz? And it was fabulous. So
I did.
We know each other well. And in fact, we love to do trades all the time. That's the caliber of Liz's work. So I wholeheartedly endorse her. I know she endorses me as a kick-ass coach and Reiki trainer. You all don't want to miss out on us. Just don't do that to yourself. Your life is precious. Your voice matters. What you have to say and who you are and your energy makes a difference on the planet. So let's get it powerful. Let's get it right. Let's get you moving forward in flow. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming, and see you next week. Woohoo! Thanks to Zima, Kim, and everyone else who was a voyeur who tuned in today, and I'll see you next Friday.
Thanks so much. Bye. Bye, everybody.